Hey, hello, hello, hello. I'm so excited that you all are here tonight. Let me turn my camera on just so that I can see you all. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to tonight's call. For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Tammy Washington Dencion, and I am so excited to welcome you to our Beach Profits call. Tonight's call is all about how to take advantage of new build opportunities, and I'm excited to be able to share with each and every one of you a little bit about the Dominican Republic and Punta Cana and all the amazing things that you can experience from investing here. I see we have already started using the chat. So listen, go ahead in the chat, put where you are calling in from, because I love when I get to interact with all of you. And so tonight, as we do this, I will use the chat as a way to interact with each other. So feel free to pull that chat up, and any questions that you have about anything that I should say, please put it in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer every single thing that you have. All right, so let's jump in, everybody. Welcome to our Beach Profits call. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tammy Washington Dencion. And my Dominican Republic story, guys, I actually came here on vacation a little over 5 years ago. It's really interesting because I had been a speaker and trainer, worked with Fortune 500 companies. And that year, I really needed a vacation. I wanted to do something big for my birthday. Who knew that that vacation would change my life? Because on that vacation, that's where I actually met my husband there, who was a photographer on our party boat. And well, I moved here a year later to be with him, and the rest is pretty much history. I absolutely fell in love with this place. When I first moved here, my goal was only to be here for a year so that maybe he could get a visa and come back to the US. But during that time that I came here, I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with the way of life. It's a slower pace. People are kind to each other. When I go back to the US, guys, it's almost like I can feel the tension. I can feel the energy in the airport. And when I come here, it's like I can breathe again. Not that I hate the US or anything. I love my country, but this has become a nice little safe haven for me. And bigger than that, because I came here, I started learning a lot about investing and started seeing how people were really profiting off of investments here. I actually had lunch with a great friend today. She just bought her third condo here because she sees the potential, and she's renting all of those condos out. And then when she comes to town, she has a place to stay. How many of you would love to do something like that, right? In my journey from coming here, I just wanted to live here, but I'm the kind of person where, you guys know me, if there's something that I see that I'm like, man, this is amazing and other people need to know about it, I'm absolutely going to tell people about it. And so for those of you who've been here, I don't know if you guys have been here, but if you have been to the Dominican Republic, what do you love most? Use the chat. I want to hear, what did you enjoy most about your experience and your time coming to visit here in the Dominican Republic? Most people say the white sand beaches and the crystal blue water. I love that too. All right, so tonight's call, guys, what we're going to talk about is why the Dominican Republic is a great place to invest. We're going to give you 3 perks of buying a new build property. As we continue on, guys, every week I'll bring you a different aspect of purchasing or investing here in the Dominican Republic. But tonight we're going to really focus on those new build opportunities. I'm going to show you 3 new build options. And then for those of you who are like, man, this is something I could really see myself doing, we're going to go ahead and give you the steps for starting your investment journey, what you really need to do in order to make this happen. All right. So first, let's talk a little bit about the Dominican Republic. Here are some facts that you need to know, especially if you're thinking about investing, okay? The Dominican Republic is the largest island in the Caribbean. It does share the island with Haiti, but it is the largest island in the Caribbean. We are really only about 2.5 hours off the coast of Florida. So one of the things that I do love about being here, and the reason why a lot of expats choose the Dominican Republic, is because, hey, if I need to go home, if I need to get back to the US, boom, usually you can find a straight flight to get there, right? There's 6 million visitors every single year. here. And the people who've been here, you guys know Punta Cana is actually kind of like a small town, really, you know, or a small little suburb. And so when you think about 6 million people coming to a small town every year, it tells you the potential that's there, especially as an investor. We've been voted the top #1 Caribbean tourist destination year after year. Sometimes we fight with Jamaica a little bit, but normally the Dominican Republic is #1 for the top Caribbean tourist vacations. And in the Dominican Republic, Punta Cana is the #1 tourist destination. So those are really important things to know. We've got land in other parts of the island as well, but it is important to know what a gem Punta Cana really is. Punta Cana has 10 different beaches. And so as you're starting to look, one of the things I like to let people know is what beach is near, right? What beach that property is near. The city, here's a really important thing to notice as well. The city is only about 45 years old. So when you go to other parts of the island, you will see a lot older buildings because it was only about 45 years ago where they cleared off a bunch of jungle land. This was all jungle land. And they said, we're going to make the best tourist destination. We're going to have a place where people want to come into our country and we're going to give them the best time in the world. And that's why you see all of the excursions here. That's why you see that this is a really tourist-friendly place. It's also an incredibly investor-friendly place. And I'll go into what some of those perks are as well. Here's some other things about Punta Cana that makes it important when you're thinking about investing abroad. Punta Cana is very English friendly. So people laugh at me because I've been here for 4 years now, but been coming back and forth for 5 years, and I still don't know a lot of Spanish. And part of that is because if I go to a restaurant, sometimes I'll try to order in Spanish and they'll speak back to me in English, right? So this is a great transition city if you're trying to move to a Spanish speaking country, because there's so many people who speak at least a little bit of English. So you can kind of get around, you can kind of navigate by yourself without having to actually know Spanish before you move here, okay? We are actually building a theme park here in Punta Cana. It's called Kathmandu. The theme park has been being built for the last year or so. It is currently open. They are basically opening it in sections. And so there's a section of the park that's currently open while they're building the rest of the theme park. And so as you start thinking about we're already the #1 tourist destination. We've already got 10 beaches. We have some of the most beautiful beaches in the world, as well as now we're going to have a theme park along with our golf courses and things like that. When you're thinking about purchasing here, all of that raises the value of your property, okay? They have lots of restaurants. We actually have 2 malls. We actually have several large grocery stores. I remember a friend of mine came on vacation and then I took her to the grocery store and she was like, oh, so y'all have like real grocery stores. Yeah, we have like real grocery stores, just like the US or any other place. But I know for a lot of people, especially if you're thinking about moving, those are the kind of things that you want to have. Those are the comforts. You want to feel, you know, like you're at home sometimes. Also, Punta Cana has more American restaurants, I believe, than any other city in the Dominican Republic, okay? So we've got a Starbucks, we've got Pizza Hut, we got Wendy's, Burger King, and Subway, as well as a ton of other restaurants. So sometimes, you know, you do get in those moods where you're like, man, I really want, you know, some comfort food. I want some food from home. And one of the things I love about Punta Cana is the fact that you can do that here in this city. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about, okay, we know how great Punta Cana is. Punta Cana has older buildings, newer buildings, but I want to give you some perks of buying a new build in the Dominican Republic. And that's anywhere in the Dominican Republic, but I'm specifically going to talk about some of the new builds that are here in Punta Cana. Okay. So please take some notes on this, especially those of you who want to invest. So the first perk of buying a new build is the ability to create equity in your property while it's being built. So whenever they're starting a new project here, whenever there's just land there, that is going to be the cheapest you will ever get that property. For example, when I first moved here, the image that you see on the screen is called Maple Beach, right? It was literally being built next door to where I lived. And when I first moved over here, it was just land and signs. It was like a picture of what it's going to look like. and they were selling, it basically said condos starting from $95,000. Now, this is 1 block away from the beach. Literally, you walk a block, you're in the beach, you're in the ocean. And I was like, 95,000, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Because I had moved from California a couple of years before. You can't get nothing a block from the beach for $95,000. All right, well, a few years later, right now, the building is built. It's got people actually living there. And I had a friend who came in town last week, and we did a little investors tour. We went over there, and now you can't even get a 1-bedroom, first of all, but the 2 bedrooms are going for $291,000, and the 3 bedrooms were $341,000. So just so you understand how much equity these buildings build just in the building phase, okay? And so I'll also give you guys some investor strategies, because one of the big investor strategies out here is there's some people who will come and purchase it during new build and then sell it at the end. So you never had to deal with a tenant, you never had to deal with furnishing it, you never had to deal with any of that. All you did was get in early, lock in the price, and then once it's actually finished and complete and people are like, wow, this is so pretty, I want to live here, now you sell your property. Okay, so that's one of the things to think. So please write this down. Generally in Punta Cana, from the time that they start, and they start with their first initial pre-build prices, by the time the building is actually built, it's going to go up anywhere from 30 to 50% in equity. Okay. All right, number 2, the second perk of buying a new build is not only do you get the ability to build equity, you get the ability to build that equity with a no interest payment plan if you want. All right. So when it comes to new builds, pretty much you can work with a bank or you can work directly with the developer. And so what most developers will do, they will give you the opportunity to pay on a payment plan, no interest, okay? It's just straight payments while your property is being built. And then once it's built, whatever is left, you can pay that, or you can go get a mortgage, which a lot of people do that. So let me kind of break down how that works. So let's just say we got Mary on the line. Let's say Mary and her husband came over and, you know, they saw a new build. They like the area where it's going to be built. They like the images. They like the builder. And they said, yes, I want to go ahead and put some money down on this property. Usually your reservation fee, which is what you would want to put down, is anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000. Okay. And what that basically does is it gives Mary time to go home and work on her bank, figure out her payment plan, whatever. It gives her 30 days to basically figure out how she wants to pay for this. But what it really does is it locks that condo in so that nobody else can purchase it. What if the condo came with a swim up pool and that was the last one, and Mary is like, I have to walk out of my door and be able to get to the swim up pool, right? So I want to lock that in, and she can lock that in with only $1,000 and then go back to the US and figure out her finances. She has 30 days to do it. So the first thing that you would pay usually is a reservation fee. Here's the second thing that your reservation fee does. That gives your attorney an opportunity to go through the paperwork, do the title searches, and make sure that the builder has all of their paperwork correct. Make sure that you are actually going to get a good title. It gives your attorney the time that they need to do the things that they need to do to make sure that you're making a good purchase, okay? So that's what the reservation fee is. After that 30 days, you'll be required to put a down payment down. Your down payment for that property is usually going to be anywhere from 10 to 30%. A lot of the properties, the developer that I'm going to be showing you guys tonight, they will do 10% down. So I recently did a video where I was showing people how they have condos available for $70,000. And there are people who put down $1,000, okay, and then 30 days later, they put down 10%. How much is that? $7,000. So for $8,000, essentially, they've put down a down payment on their condo, and now they're going to pay a no interest payment plan. Now, in that payment plan, what are they paying? They are going to be paying up to 30%, all right? 30, sometimes 50%, depending upon how you work out your contract with the developer, of that build over the course of it being built. So how long does it take for projects to be built? Anywhere from 2 to 3 years sometimes, okay? I always say think longer. That way you're not anxious. I know people who bought a pre-build and then they planned their move and then they got here and had to run an Airbnb because their build wasn't complete yet, right? So you always want to take into consideration that sometimes things may take longer than expected, right? So I like to say 2 to 3 years on that, right? So imagine you're paying 2 to 3 years, you're paying for it for 2 to 3 years. And if you're doing a condo for $70,000, that's probably anywhere from $500 to $600 a month, okay? Paying for that over that course of that time. And then once it is completely built, whatever's left, which is usually about 50%, that's when you pay that. Now you could either pay that cash money or you can go get a mortgage for that. So if you're buying one of the condos that's $70,000, at that point, basically you're getting a loan for $35,000 because you paid most of it up during your payment plan. Okay. Now, remember the scenario I told you about where there are people who will buy at its lowest, so let's say 70,000, and if that went up by 30% or 50%, you're talking about anywhere from what, 120 to 140 for that condo to go up. That's not 50%. I'll get the numbers for you. But anyway, but if the condo has gone up and the person then sells at the higher rate, they're going to get all the money back that they paid over those 2 to 3 years, plus they're going to get the extra money from the equity that it's built. So that's why some people use that as an investment strategy. I'm just going to do these new builds and then sell it at the end. All right. So no interest payment plans is the second perk. The third perk is what's called the confiteor law. Okay. The confiteor law. All new builds don't have the confiteor law, but I definitely highly recommend that if you are going to purchase one, ask them, do they fall under the confiteor law? Here's one of the reasons. Under the confiteor law, developers have to do a lot to be able to have that type of a privilege, okay? Which means they have to be financially secure, basically, in their development, meaning that there's already a lot of money invested. So this is not something that investors might come in and potentially lose their money on because they didn't raise enough money. There are qualifications they have to hit by the government to be able to fall under this law, all right? So here's some of the benefits to you, okay? Because this is the tourism incentive law. As I mentioned, they are very investor friendly, which means that they've actually enacted laws to incentivize tourism or tourists to purchase here, okay? So the first is the transfer tax. When you purchase, you're going to have to pay a transfer tax from the developer to the owner, right? If you resell, that person's going to have to pay the transfer tax because you're going to have to transfer the tax over to them, the title over to them, okay? When you pay a transfer tax here, it is one single payment of 3% of the value of that property, okay? One payment of 3% of the value of that property. For example, if your property is $100,000, then your title tax is going to be $3,000, right? Now, let's first talk about how this works without confiteor, just regular if you purchase without. Because again, you can, and there's nothing wrong with it, all right? The second thing that you're gonna pay is property tax, right? So the way property taxes work here, it is an annual payment of 1% of the property value over $148,000. So what does that mean? If you buy a property that is less than $148,000, how much property tax do you pay? And that's why this is an investor-friendly place, right? So you only pay 1% above $148,000 US, okay? And then income tax. How many of you, if you want to do this as an income property, meaning you want to put it on Airbnb, you want to rent it out to people to make money off of it, put some ones in the chat, if that's you, okay? So when it comes to income tax, it is an annual payment of 20% of your rental income, okay? Now, if you're doing Airbnb, is that going to be under the US or is it going to be here? It's going to be the US. All right. So you would worry about US taxes here. Okay. All right. But just so you know, their income tax is an annual payment of 20% of all of the rental income that you earn for that year. However, if you purchase a property under Confitor, you pay 0% in your transfer tax, all right? So you do not have to pay for a transfer tax. You do not have to pay property tax for 15 years. And remember, we're only talking about if it's over $148,000 anyway, okay? And if you have this property for income purposes, you pay 0 tax on income for 15 years. How do you like that? Is that a good deal or is that a great deal, right? So the Confitor law gives you a lot of perks. And so the properties that I'm actually going to show you tonight, they all do fall under the Confitor law. So you will be able to take advantage of these tax advantages if you choose to do so, okay? So let's look at some available properties. Let's look at some new builds that you can build equity off of. You can do the no interest payment plans, and they all fall under the Confitor law. Okay, the first one is called Sun Village, and I'm going to go cheaper to a little bit higher. All right, so the first one is Sun Village. These are 1 to 3 bedrooms. This does have beach club access, so it is not on the beach. It is actually about a 10 to 15-minute drive to the beach. However, they do have a beach club at the beach that you'll be able to go. They have lockers so that you can put your stuff in. You don't have to wag around with your stuff all day. They're going to have beach chairs. They will have a beach bar where you can order food. So you will have a beach club, even though you're not right on the beach, okay? If you're on the first floor, you get a swim up pool, as you can see from the pictures here. And if you're on the 3rd floor, you actually get a rooftop terrace. That's very, very popular here. People like having 3rd floor units. They like having rooftop access. It is really nice late at night when the cool ocean breeze is blowing and you got lights up or, anything, to have just like a nice little patio up on the roof of the building is really nice, okay? They are going to have 2 different common areas, and they have 2 and 3 bedrooms that do contain the lockout feature. If you guys have not seen my videos, I can definitely send it to you. Let me know if you need to see it again. But basically what the lockout feature is, there are units where you walk in and it is a kitchen, a living room, a bedroom, and a bathroom, right? It's a 2-bedroom condo though. There is a door. Do you guys remember the hotels where they would have the adjoining doors, right? That can lock from either side. They have an adjoining door that goes into a 2nd bedroom, bathroom, a smaller living room, and a small kitchen as well. So what the lockout feature does is it gives you the ability to have a 2-bedroom condo or 2 1-bedroom condos all in one purchase. Okay, so you get 2 1-bedroom condos all in one purchase, but connected, it's a 2-bedroom condo. So what that does is, let's say that Barisha and her husband comes in town, but she still wants to continue to have her property on Airbnb. She's only going to use one of the bedrooms. She now has the ability to not only come and use her property, but she also has the ability to still make money while she's in town using it. That's huge. Remember I said my friend just bought her 3rd condo today. One of the reasons why she bought her 3rd condo is because she's like, if somebody's ever in one of the other 2, like I need them to be able to be rotated, like, so whenever I come in town, I have at least some place to stay, right? So that takes that out of the equation when you buy a property that has the lockout feature, and you can basically have 2 condos in one, okay? And this one you can reserve for $1,000, and the 1 bedrooms are starting at $70,940, and that is the base level. And as I did mention before, this was the starting price, but July 31st, this did go up by 3%. Okay, so just so you know, if you are interested in this one, when we go and look at the numbers, it might be slightly higher than the $70,090. Okay, so this is generally what it's going to look like. Here is the swim up pool with the grass area. You will see that these are small, and the reason for that is because a lot of people are definitely using these as beach properties. They're not necessarily going to be living here year round. They want a beautiful place to stay when they come, and they want a beautiful Airbnb that they can rent out to other people. And therefore, you will see that some of the kitchens are a little small, things like that, because this is designed to be for tourists. Okay. So the 1 bedrooms start at 70,000, the 2 bedrooms start at 107,000, and the 3 bedrooms right now are going for 139,000. What did you guys notice? All of these are under $150,000. So how much tax are you going to have to pay on that? And it does follow under the comforter law. So even if it was, you still would pay that much tax. That's great. Awesome. Let's go to our next one. And if you guys have questions, please put it in the chat for me. All right, our next destination is Palm Coast. Now, in this building, there are 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms in every single unit. So it's all the same. They do offer the lockout feature, right? So you can have, again, 2 apartments in one. It is across from one of the most famous golf courses here in the Dominican Republic. They do all types of golf tournaments there. It is a very prestigious area. And on Coco Town, most of the condos are going to be in the 200,000s. And if they are under 200,000, you're probably going to want to do some upgrades and repair work, because it's probably going to be a little bit older. Okay. The completion date for Palm Coast is the end of this year. So those of you who are like, hey, I don't want to wait 2 or 3 years to be in this property, this is one that you can actually look at, and in a couple of months, it'll actually be complete. Again, you do get access to a beach club because it is not on the beach. It's about 10-15 minute drive from the beach. And the way that I will word it in like Airbnb listings and things like that, you just say, hey, it's a $5 Uber ride to the beach, right? That's how I like to do it. And it will come with a community clubhouse that is going to have pool and billiards in there. Okay. So a lot of different things that you can advertise on your Airbnb listings. Okay. For this one, you do reserve at $4,000. The down payment is 20% in 30 days, and then it's 30%. And you can do that monthly or quarterly in payments until completion. And for all of our units, for all of the things that I'm going to show you, for the most part, every single one offers furniture packages. How many of you don't have time to come over here, look for furniture and put stuff together? Well, guess what? We offer furniture packages, and your furniture packages are usually going to be $20,000 to $30,000. Now, how many of you would love it if we just rolled that right up into your mortgage? So you can roll it up into your mortgage. So imagine if you're paying $70,000 and you get the full furniture package for your 1 bedroom. And that furniture package, let's say, is $25,000, you are still paying under $100,000 for a condo in a beach area that you can make money off of, that you're paying 0 taxes on. Pretty great. If you would like to add a jacuzzi, these are called jacuzzis right here. Those are usually going to be $15,000 to $20,000 extra. Again, you can add all of that into your mortgage. Why? Because it is a new build, and so they just put it all together in your purchase agreement. The last one that I'm going to show you tonight, guys, is called Bavaro Soul. Now, how many of you are like, I don't want to live in a condo. I like to live in a villa. So here, guys, a villa is a house. I remember when I first moved here, people were like, oh, come to my villa. I'm like, oh, a villa is a house. So the villas here will be in a gated community. It's going to be 21 contemporary style villas with open concept. As far as the design goes, it is going to be centrally located. So about 10 minutes from restaurants, about 10 minutes from the beach, things like that. Each villa is on 500 square meters of land, which is pretty great because basically what that gives you is a pretty nice sized house, and it gives you a yard in the front, the back, and usually that's enough room for a small pool as well. Every single room is an ensuite, which means basically every room has its own bathroom inside the room. That's also a great incentive when you have Airbnbs. and people are going to be renting them out. The fact that you can say every room has its own bathroom, that's a big incentive, okay? There is access to a beach club, and these can be 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms, depending upon what you want, basically. So as I said, you can get it built with a pool. There's 3 different options. There's Bovril Sol, there's Bovril Sol with the pool, and then there's Bovril Mar. Bovril Mar are the 4-bedroom condos. I'm sorry, not condos, the 4-bedroom houses, okay? So the Bovril Sol 3-bedroom starts at $241,000. With the pool is $266,000, and then Bovril Mar is $290,000. So as you can see, when you go from condo to house, the prices do go up a lot. However, there are some places here in Punta Cana, there are some developments right now where you can get a 3-bedroom house, 2 stories, for about $170,000. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. I don't know if it falls under Comfortour or not, but I can definitely check it out for you. All right, so people ask all the time, all right, man, this is really good information. I'm ready to buy, okay? So the first thing that I want for everybody is, yes, we can take your $1,000 and put it down on a condo, but the best thing for you to do, guys, is to come and do an investment tour. And the reason why I'd like for you to come and do an investment tour is because you can get to see and experience Punta Cana. You can get to see and experience, you know, everything that we have here, but more importantly, you get to check out the different neighborhoods, so that as new developments start coming up, because we've got tons of developments, these are not the only ones that are available. I can tell you, hey, it's in this side of town or it's in that side of town, and you know exactly where it is, right? So that's the first thing I always tell people: come do an investment tour. Let us go around, take you around to the different neighborhoods, show you what's there, show you what restaurants are there, so you know where you want to purchase, okay? What we're also going to do is give you a great Punta Cana experience. It does include the opportunity to meet developers and also to meet the bankers as well. So some of you may want to bank with a Dominican bank. It's actually really difficult for American banks to finance you over here. So more and more, we're building relationships with Dominican banks so that we can offer mortgages to people, because people want it and people need it, right? Here, most mortgages are going to be anywhere from 6% to 12%, so higher than the US. However, if the prices are a little bit lower, though, sometimes it's very workable, right? So you'll get to experience all of that. This is going to include airport transport. It's also going to include a celebration party boat cruise. It's going to basically be everything that you need to really understand and see the potential of Punta Cana. So for those of you guys who want to come and do that, it's $297 only, and you guys are going to get a complimentary 5-day stay in Cabo San Lucas. All right, so we're giving away vacations as an incentive to come over and have an amazing tour with us, okay? And so if you want to do that, just go to traveltradeinvest.com/events, and you will actually see where you can sign up. Our next tour dates are going to be October 5th through 8th, and then November 17th through 21st, okay? So that's the first step. I always say, come over and actually see the area so you know where you want to buy in the area. The second thing that you want to do is you want to determine your budget and your financing options. And that's also the reason why I want you guys to come and meet and understand the banking options, so you can see, do I want to do a bank loan here? Do I want to do this as a business loan? A lot of people do that. They'll get business funding in the US, since this is going to be an Airbnb business for them. And so they maybe can get better options that way. There are a lot of people, like my friend who just bought her third, she buys all of her condos cash, right? Like she takes advantage of the payment plans and things of that nature. So you got to figure out what's your budget and how you're going to finance it. And that'll give us the steps for what we need to do moving forward. And then we can choose your property. So oftentimes people will come to me and they want to do step 3 first. And I always say the best thing to do is please come. I just helped a friend buy a condo here last week. We just started her paperwork. We just did her reservation fee. And now she's about to go through the process of getting funded from the bank. And the reason why I could show her video of the building, show her pictures of, you know, the condo, and she was able to purchase her 2-bedroom condo for $80,000 was because she's already been here on an investment tour. So when I said it's right next door to Coco Tile Golf Course, and she said, oh my gosh, $80,000 next to the golf course, that's a good deal, right? So that's what I want for you. I want you to be educated on these areas and what you're going to be buying, okay? So that's how you move forward. You can also reach out to me or set time on my calendar if you have more questions about any of the things that we discussed tonight, the Confortor law, the payment plans, building equity in your property, any of those questions. We also have an on-site attorney that I work with. So if you have questions for our attorney, we can also get you on a call with our attorney as well, okay? And she will be here for the investment tour as well, okay? So those are the steps for moving forward. Do we have any questions before we jump off for tonight? I know I gave a lot of information, but I just wanted to kind of give an overview of what it would be like to purchase a new build. Awesome, awesome. All right, so if there's no more questions, I will send the replay out to you all. And I just want to say thank you so much for attending tonight. And next week, we'll actually go through another area of buying in the Dominican Republic. So I'll keep giving you more and more insights in small doses, just so that as you're thinking about building and buying here, you get all of your questions answered. Thank you all so much. Have an amazing night.